Big Brother is trying to invade your toothbrush now and monitor how often and how well you brush your teeth and report that to your Obamacare provider, your dental insurance company, or maybe your parents, depending on how old you are. Yes, the smart toothbrush has been unveiled at the 2014 Consumer Electronics Show that, quote, connects your toothbrush to the internet and monitors how often, how well you brush your teeth. The creepy Orwellian device was designed and created by former Microsoft and Google executive, go figure, Thomas Serval, who plans to unleash his Big Brother brush nationwide, worldwide rather, in the third quarter. Yes, that's fantastic. It says here that it conveys the information wirelessly to a smartphone app, a particularly useful aid for parents who want to monitor the teeth cleaning efforts of small children. Oh, that's great. I'm sure that it's not only parents that want to do that, but I'm sure your healthcare insurance provider wants to do that too. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't have the new super-powered internet toothbrush? Oh, I'm sorry, that's a $99 a month extra surcharge. That's an extra surcharge. Yeah, remember the smart fork from last year? Some Orwellian idiots designed a smart fork that measured how fast and how many times your fork would move from your plate to your mouth. People thought this was just a pipe dream idea, but no, fast forward here 1 year and it's available. It's on Amazon.com. People are apparently buying it. The reviews do not look all that great. As we continue to race towards the Orwellian nightmare, this just privacy destroying plan of the elite Illuminati, I'd like to remind you of Edgar Friendly, the character played in the 1993 film Demolition, where he was, in the underground resistance because they didn't want to participate in the Orwellian New World Order. Played by Dennis Leary's character, who gave a very fascinating rant about against this Orwellian plan, where he said, I'm the enemy because I like to think, I like to read, I'm into freedom of speech, freedom of choice. I'm the kind of guy that would like to sit in a greasy spoon and think, gee, I'd like to have the T-bone steak or the big rack of barbecue spare ribs with the side order of gravy fries. I want high cholesterol. I want to eat bacon, butter, buckets of cheese, all right? I want to smoke Cuban cigar the size of Cincinnati in the non-smoking section. I can't do this justice, by the way. You have to go and see the rant. It's a very powerful and now in today's society even more relevant today. Dennis Leary became famous for ranting and raving, but this captures the very essence of what it is that they're trying to do. They are eliminating our freedoms. And at some point in time, I fear that the system is going to force people to do things that they don't want to do. Like Isaac Asimov's 3 Rules of Robotics, very famous science fiction author that came up with these 3 rules of robotics to try to program robots so that they would not turn on their human masters. But these very rules may actually, once the artificial intelligence systems are operational, they may very well enslave humanity based on the premise that they're helping humanity. You see, because the first rule of robotics is that a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. Okay, so this could very well be used in the singularity system, this Luciferian artificial intelligence beast that is being designed. It's probably fully functional already. They just haven't released it to the public yet, or it just hasn't announced itself yet. But because the robots will be programmed to not injure a human being, unless, of course, they program it to injure those poor, Christian terrorists that want a Bill of Rights and don't believe that the Messiah is God. This Antichrist Messiah. Or, I guess what I'm trying to say here is by the second part of this law, it won't allow a human to come into harm through inaction, means that the system will force you to use your smart toothbrush to brush your teeth, or it will force you to eat certain kinds of foods, or it will force you to take the genetically modified system or the cybernetic slavery neural interface because, oh, we have determined that to grow old and die is to allow a human to come into harm because death is bad. So the system could at some point very well force humanity, and this will spark the Art-elect war, of the war against the humans and the machines, or the remnant army, those who do not want to become artificial, immortal, quote, gods on this hell of a rock called planet Earth, who want to live and die naturally. Now, I'm not advocating suicide by any means, but there's a natural process of life. From dust we came, and to dust we shall return, except unless you're an immortal Illuminati wannabe, afraid of death, afraid of the judgment of God. And so these systems could very well force people to try to keep them plugged into the matrix, to keep them alive, to force them to take the supplements, to just plug the neural interface into your head, to stick the little nanobots into your body to prevent you from aging, because the system has determined that getting old and dying is to allow a human being to come into harm, and we can't do that. That's a violation of rule number 1. You're gonna take the mark of the beast. You're gonna take your smart toothbrush. We're not gonna let you eat that bacon. Oh, you can't eat more chocolate cake. We've determined that that's gonna lead to death and heart disease. So like Dennis Leary's character, we are the enemy because we like to think, because we like to read, because we're into freedom of speech, freedom of choice, because we want to eat bacon, we want to eat buckets of cheese. And he finishes his fascinating rant here that says, what does it say here? If you want to look into the future, okay, right here. I've seen the future, and you know what it is? It's made by a 47-year-old virgin in gray pajamas, soaking in a bubble bath, drinking a broccoli milkshake, and thinking he's an Oscar Mayer wiener. Pretty interesting times. Oh, by the way, in the 2005 film The Island, starring Ewan McGregor and Scarlett Johansson, human beings were cloned, and their clones were grown and raised in an underground facility so that their organs could be harvested and given to their rich human counterparts, to the original human. And there's a scene in there where they're in the lunch line, and Ewan McGregor tries to get an extra piece of bacon from the lunch line, and he was not allowed because he had eaten too much bacon. He had exceeded his weekly or monthly allotment of the bacon. So the smart toothbrush, it's really the dumb toothbrush. It's the anti-freedom toothbrush. This is just getting beyond Orwellian. So anyway, get yourself ready. New World Order's almost ready. The Luciferian elite are just better be careful. Anyway, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new. Check out the previous videos. Go read my books. Get them before they just ban them. Oh, you're a terrorist. You're inciting hatred. You are inciting violence against our cybernetic machines, Mark. Oh, you must be targeted for termination. You have violated the Freedom of Speech Act. Yeah. What a bunch of crap.